Hi, I'm Robert Curtis. I'm the head instructor of the Distance Calculus program. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Precalculus course that we offer. The first thing I'm going to talk about with the Precalculus course, you're on our Precalculus page and you're thinking about taking the Precalculus course. And my first question is going to be to you is your goal to take Calculus 1? Are you thinking about taking Precalculus because it is a prerequisite for Calculus 1? And if that is the case, then my question to you is, perhaps have you already taken Precalculus? The litmus test of whether or not you've taken Precalculus, what we call Precalculus, is whether or not you had a course in trigonometry. If you remember trigonometry from high school, sines and cosines and tangents and triangles and figuring out the lengths of sides and the measurements of angles, that means you have taken Precalculus before. You have taken trigonometry and Algebra 2 or college algebra, it's roughly the same thing, in high school, and that you meet the academic prerequisites for Calculus 1. Now, you may be thinking, oh, that was a number of years ago, Robert. I took this class like 25 years ago in high school. I don't remember anything about sines and cosines or any of that stuff. I really need to start back in Precalculus. Well, that's one of the reasons why I wrote the Precalculus course, and I wrote the curriculum for this class. And it's because when we start Calculus 1, the first 20 assignments that we do is the Precalculus Module. Now, some people might call it the review module. I don't like that term. I like warm-up. It's the warm-up to the Calculus 1 course. And it warms you up not only on the topic of Precalculus, but also on the software that we use, the live math software, and the different way this course operates, right? The mastery learning and the recursive grading of homework. That takes some getting used to, and it's really much nicer to get used to that on some easier topics than it is to jump right into the fire of Calculus 1 and go, and I have to learn Calculus 1 and the software and the videos and the new course, and that's too much. So we have a nice warm-up here, and for almost all students that we have sign up in Calculus 1 who are thinking, maybe I need to take Precalculus. Almost all of those students, I recommend just take Calculus 1. If you technically meet the academic prerequisite requirements here for Calculus 1, that you did take Precalculus with trigonometry or an equivalent course, but basically did you take trigonometry, then you're cleared for Calculus 1. And as part of this Precalculus module, you will relearn all of the topics that you'll need from Precalculus to succeed in Calculus 1. I see it all the time. Believe me, I have had hundreds or thousands of students now over the last 20 years all approach me with this same concern, but I haven't had this math stuff in a long time. Maybe I should go back and do the previous course. And almost all the time, the answer is no. If you did very poorly in Precalculus and trigonometry in high school, let's say you had a C or a lower than a C, then I would recommend you take the entire Precalculus course, which is very thorough, and that will better prepare you for Calculus 1. But once again, if you do technically have the requirements of a trig class, the academic prerequisite requirement, then I almost always recommend that you jump right into Calculus 1. Now, let's talk about what this Precalculus course is. There is sort of a spectrum of high school math. And the spectrum is basically there's Algebra 1, and then there's Algebra 2, and then, well, sometimes that's geometry, but it depends. The high school curriculum is very much in flux now with the core curriculum. These boxes don't make as much sense as they used to. Then there's Algebra 2, and then there's Trig, and then Sometimes there's like another course way over here. Sometimes it's called college algebra. Sometimes it's before trig. It's all kind of a mess like this. Usually you take this as a freshman, you take this as a sophomore, you take this as a junior, and you take this as a senior in high school. Our pre-calculus course starts from here and goes all the way across. It's almost like you're getting 4 years of high school math all put together like that. Now you might be saying, how in the world can you do that? Well, it's because the topics of Algebra 2 really are just a little bit harder than the topics of Algebra 1. We're not doing any geometry in this class, so that class is just not of any concern. And then there's the trigonometry portion of the course, and then the college algebra is basically just harder versions of Algebra 2. So really, these courses being split up like this over a 4-year span of high school is, I don't know if it's necessary or not, but the Algebra 1 course for 14-year-olds in high school is hard enough, so we don't want to necessarily put all this stuff into that little basket. So they spread it out, and we don't spread it out. We do the entire spectrum of this, and it's important to note that we start way back here. We don't start in the middle. We don't say, I remember this from Algebra 2. We don't. We start way back here. We assume that you remember nothing. And that is the way many students like it. If they're looking to engage in a pre-calculus course, that's a refreshing thing. We're not assuming you remember anything from your high school math. So we start here and we end over here. And is it a long class? Yeah, it's a very long class. I think there's 120 assignments in the full pre-calculus course, so it's a long class. But when you get done, you will be very empowered to complete the Calculus 1 course. You'll be very well prepared. Now, how about technology in this course? Well, we do use the live math software, which is the software that we use in the calculus, in the first year calculus courses. So we use the live math software. There's a lot of videos. I think there's 70 or 80 videos in the book. I made it 10 years ago, just after my eldest daughter Hannah was born, in a crazy set of 3 months after she was born, because I had a student who wanted to take Calculus 1 but had never taken pre-calculus, and he needed to take it over distance, and he had to do it fast. So I actually wrote this entire textbook in quotation marks, over a 3-month span, staying basically 1 day ahead of him at every turn. So there's videos, and there's what are called live math notebooks. And then there are also hand calculations. Now, the majority of the course is using the live math software inside of these notebooks, which are kind of like Microsoft Word files, but they're not opened by Microsoft Word, but you're inside of this document, and it's a live document. So it does calculations, and it does graphs, and it does computations, and it does all kinds of stuff. And that is the majority of the work that you'll be doing in the course, is via these notebooks. The hand calculations are about 20% of the course, and it's because, it might even be 25%, and it's because the nature of pre-calculus is that it's expected that you have certain skills that you can do by hand without a computer. And although it's not the majority of the course, it's a very distinct minority of the course, it is important that you have this manual literacy from the pre-calculus course. It's just expected. If you've taken pre-calculus, then you know how to factor a quadratic polynomial. You know how to use the quadratic formula by hand. And so there are there are specific portions of the course that are based upon learning hand calculations. The way you'll be doing those is actually you'll write them on paper. You'll do certain assignments on paper, and then you'll take out your cell phone and you'll take a picture of it and upload that picture to me. Sometimes you'll actually be making videos of your own to demonstrate some knowledge of a particular topic, and these are screen videos just like you'll be watching me do. You will see me at a chalkboard, or actually way back in 2006 when I wrote this curriculum, I used a whiteboard with a pen. So there's some chalk stuff and there's some whiteboard with a pen videos. It's a mixture of that collection. Now, when you were in high school, or if you took a course like this in college, you may have used a graphing calculator. And graphing calculators are very, very popular in these courses, especially this set of courses here. When you get to be a junior and a senior in high school, graphing calculators are very popular to be used, the TI graphing calculators especially. And that's been around for about 20 years now. It's almost synonymous with a pre-calculus course to have a graphing calculator. So many students ask, do I need to go out and buy a graphing calculator for this course? No. No. We are not using a graphing calculator. The live math software is more powerful in many ways. In some ways it isn't, but in most ways it's more powerful than any graphing calculator there is. We're not going to be using a graphing calculator per se, but many of the activities you may remember from doing this course in high school with a graphing calculator, the types of activities of exploring functions in numerics and with graphs is something we're going to be doing a lot of. So in many ways, it is a similar curriculum to that of the graphing calculator curriculum, but we're not using a graphing calculator to analyze the mathematics. We're going to be using software on your Mac or your Windows PC. So that is many students, unfortunately, I try to warn them before they sign up for the course, is they run out and buy a graphing calculator at the beginning of the course. And then they say, how do I use my graphing calculator on this? And I say, no. I hope you have the receipt. Take it back. But you may have a graphing calculator running around from your high school days, and that's fine, but it's not going to be of any use to you at all. So, pull it out, and I don't think you should pull it out. Give it to a friend, or, you can't really wait with technology. You can't say wait till your kids are older and they can use it, right? You probably have an old TI-81 or something, and it's cute. Leave it on your bookshelf and show it to people when they come over. All right, so the pre-calculus course, it's a very long course. It's a very thorough course. We do really, if you pick up a pre-calculus textbook, which is usually that thick, we go through all of it from start to finish. So it's a very, very long course. It's not a course that can be done very quickly. And so if you are looking for a quick, fast course, this is not the course for you. This is a very long course. Having said that, of course, if your pre-calculus skills are very good, you could go through this very quickly. But most students who are taking this course I'm expecting, have either not taken pre-calculus at all, have not taken trigonometry, or they need to work on their foundations. And so probably they haven't been as successful in mathematics as they want to, and they're kind of going back and they want to make sure they have really good foundations before moving forward. And so if you want really good foundations, that does not mean you want to go really, really fast. So that's just a word to wise. let's see. I don't think there's anything else I can talk about the course. It is definitely a reformed curriculum, so very much like a graphing calculator-based curriculum. And when you come out of the course, you are going to have a mastery of using computer algebra software to analyze mathematics. That's very good. And you will have a competent understanding of hand calculations. You will not be a superstar at hand calculations. If you get stranded on a desert island and there's some other person there with you on that desert island and you have a competition for hand calculations in precalculus, you will lose. If there's no computer available, you won't win someone who has taken a more classical course in precalculus, the type that's usually taught in high schools, because it's just not that important. And that's my opinion. There are other educators who will say, what do you mean it's not that important? And my claim is it's not that important. We have tools that will do a lot of the work that we need, and although a fundamental understanding of hand calculations is important, a basic understanding, it is not any longer required that you be a superstar at hand calculations. It is not any longer required that you can factor the worst polynomial, degree 4 polynomial. It's not by hand, without any technology. It's no longer required that you can do that. I had to do that when I was in high school 30 years ago. 35 years ago. But now it's just not required. We have tools. It's more important for you to be able to use these tools and understand the mathematics and apply these tools to get at the answers and be able to write about those answers, be able to make graphs about those answers, to be able to do numerics with those answers. It's much more important to have a very well-rounded approach to precalculus than it is to be some sort of superstar that you're going to start competing against people with computers. It's kind of like playing chess. I mean, you can learn to play chess really, really well, and that's a skill that's very good, of course, but a computer is going to be able to be much better than you for quite some time. You have to be a very good chess player before you can overwhelm the computer. And so that's just our philosophy. If you are looking for a classical course where you're going to do lots of hand calculations, you're going to do lots of this kind of thing, 1 through 99 odd, that's not our course at all. You will never be asked to do 1 through 99 odd. That is a classical course, a traditional course where you're learning hand calculations primarily. You're not using any technology. That is not our course at all. If you're looking for a 1 through 99 odd type of course, this isn't for you. But if you are coming back to academics, you're thinking that you need to take a precalculus course, and you remember 1 through 99 odd as being not a very fun time, right? Sitting there late at night at the kitchen table and, I got to do 57 now, and check your answer. I didn't get it. Oh. And let's see, how do you do that again? And did I get the answer now? Oh. If that is your memory of precalculus and you did not like it, then this is the course. This is going to be a good course for you. You're going to enjoy it quite a lot. So if you have any questions that I haven't been able to address here, or if you'd like a personal consultation about whether or not you should take precalculus first or go right into calculus 1, please write me an email. My email's on this page, or send me a chat message and we can chat about it and try to help you make a good decision about which course you should start with. All right, we'll talk to you later.